Everybody, and welcome to the second webinar in the AI for Business series that we're running in conjunction with ANZ. It's fantastic to have you here. I look forward to this session. Good morning, Anna. Nice to see you. Looking forward to dropping into your team tomorrow. You'll see we've got the chat thread. There's a little icon on the bottom of your screen where you can pop that open. Give your business a shout out. Let us know where you're dialing in from and joining us from today around Aotearoa. We will be getting started in 2 or 3 minutes, just as we let people have time to get in and join us. Good morning, Sue. How are you? Nice to see you. Let me know if you can hear the music too. Morning, Sarah. Nice to have you here. You can't hear the music. What about now? Can you hear the music now? All right, nice to see everyone joining us. We will get started shortly. All right. I don't know why the music's not playing today. Odd. All right, let's get started in a minute. G'day, Frank. Good morning. Nice to see you from Littleton. Great to have you here. Nikki at CultureWorks in the Manawatu, fantastic space. Great to have you here as well. Okay. Wow, good morning, everybody. Nice to have so many of you joining us for this session. We're going to get started in a minute. We'll just give everyone a couple more, just another minute to join us. As I mentioned, this is the second webinar of 6 fortnightly sessions that we are doing in conjunction with ANZ. And I'm delighted. I am super excited to have you all here and to run the next hour or so with you. All right. Good, everybody. Susie from Dimension Shop Fitters in the North Shore, good morning to you as well. Nice to see you. G'day, Chantel. Right, let's get cracking. Today, we're going to talk about, we're going to cover the AI playbook that we have developed over the last few years to give you some grounding and best practice to share some of the knowledge and the practical insights that we have learned working with companies over the last 8 years on their AI adoption. So let's go. Yes, we have been around since 2017, helping businesses with their AI adoption. You're all here in our AI Academy, and we're now just knocking over 1,800 members in our Academy, all learning the practical skills that you need, that we need to leverage AI in our businesses. So this program is brought to you with ANZ. There are 6 fortnightly webinars in this series. 2 weeks ago, we ran the first one with an introduction to AI to give us an overview of the capability and use cases and tasks and thinking around where it might fit, how it could add value into our business. Today, we're talking about the playbook. In fortnight time, we're going to be looking at the tedious, repetitive tasks that you have in the business that kind of slow things down, the real tedious stuff. And we'll be looking at, and I'll be showing you examples and demos of how to automate those tasks using different AI tools. Then we're going to get into sales and marketing and thinking about how we can engage with our customers, do proposals, emails, analytics, all of that type of stuff. The second to last event will be on AI agents and building out more complex workflows using agents. And the final webinar of the series, we'll be meeting 3 or 4 different businesses from around New Zealand who will be sharing their experience and what they've done using AI to boost their business potential. So in the Academy, if you want to look back at and replay any of the previous episodes, you can just jump into This is AI for Business ANZ webinar series, and up here you'll have a drop down where you can jump into the past webinars, and you'll be able to play all the recordings. So with every episode is being recorded, so that you can replay and watch that anytime, basically. So today we're going to cover how to lead through the AI transition. We're going to look at task selection and where to start with automation, how to upskill your team, and how to build an adoption plan, right? All in line with our playbook, which is this, and it's on the website. If you go to newzealand.ai/start, then you'll be able to access this in more details as well, right? So the things that we are going to be covering today are leadership, governance best practice, how to identify use cases. Once we've got the use cases, we can then work through what the risks might be for those use cases and mitigate and manage them, put plans in place for that. Then we're going to be able to look at the tools. And often we start thinking about tools first. What tools should we be deploying? and really the conversation around tools should be a bit later down the track, right? When we actually understand what's the problem that we want to be solving, and a bunch of other elements in there which are going to inform our decision making. And then, of course, once we know what those tools are and we're deploying them, we need to be able to provide the practical training for ourselves and all of our employees to make sure that they know how to use them, the benefits of them, and to use them responsibly as well. And in some recent research and a report that came out from Cultivate Recruitment, they found that only 13% of employees have received employer-funded AI training, right? So, which is a little bit of an issue, right? So, while that might mean that you might deploy some AI tools and people kind of experiment and figure things out on their own, it's probably going to hold back the maturity of adoption, and certainly the pace at which they're going to be able to start leveraging these tools in everyday workflows, right? Now, throughout the session, if you want to ask a question, you've got the chat thread in there. You're more than welcome to drop it in. If it's appropriate at that time, I'll drop in and see if I can answer it. Otherwise, we'll certainly have time at the end for more of your questions and those sorts of things. So, leadership, right? With any kind of technology play, it's often 10% tech and 90% people. And when you've got a transformational technology like that AI can be, it does create some anxiety. It is changing. It can change what we do and how we do things at work. And so it's quite important to think about how we're informing, guiding, supporting our people through this change, right? So the first thing to do, and a lot of companies are already doing this, is to nominate an ambassador. Or it might be that you actually create a company AI forum, which might be a group of 4, 5, 6 people across the business, multidisciplinary, coming from different teams. And so they're going to be the champions for AI in your business. They're the ones that are going to be able to advise people, demonstrate, showcase use cases, understand some of the challenges with adoption that your business might face. And we've got our AI ambassador program. Our goal is to train 1,000 AI ambassadors by the end of next year, and we're well on our way to that. It's a 2-hour workshop and a self-paced course that you can take your team through. Super, super practical, and lots of tools and resources that I will be sharing with them in that program, right? So we've got our champions, our ambassadors, the people that are going to be leading the programs. They then need to know the capability of AI. What can it do? And what are some of the practical applications for that? They need to know your systems. So these people should have some good domain knowledge around how the business operates. What's the tech stack that you use? What are some of the systems and workflows and processes that happen inside your business that make you successful? And of course, they're going to be promoting the practical and responsible use of AI across the organization, right? So, really key, from that leadership perspective, being able to, understand some of the anxieties and the challenges and things like that people have, and take them on the journey with you, right? So bring them on. Often they will run a lunch and learn, or get me in to run a lunch and learn, so that we're lifting the knowledge of everyone up there and dispelling any of the myths and concerns that people have around the use of artificial intelligence and what it might mean for them. Right? The second one is good governance, right? And what do we mean by what do I mean by good governance protocols? And really, I mean that we've got really clear and transparent use of AI. So how the business is going to be leveraging company and customer data with artificial intelligence should be clear and transparent. So we like to creating a principles-based policy, and in the ambassador workshop and in the course, we've actually got a template there, an example there of a principles-based policy that you can customize and craft for your own business, right? And so that is going to inform decision making, inform how we're going to be using it, and what what tools we use with certain data, what our protocols are around sensitive or commercially sensitive information, or data that contains personally identifiable information, or business strategy. All of those types of things need to be informed in that. And we've got some really clear guidelines for our employees around how you use AI tools, how you choose which AI tools to install or leverage in the business, right? So, I think it's important that, and we'll get onto more tool selection and things like that as we get on, but some clear guidelines around how we decide and how we provision tools in there to make sure that they comply with data privacy regulations, New Zealand the regulations of wherever we're operating in, and also the conditions that we want to operate in as a business, right? And the last one here is continuous improvement, right? So to be continually reviewing your policy and guidelines and the terms of service of any of the tools that you're using, because they can change, and how they might use or store your data, it might change. And so it's important that we're continually reviewing those terms of service to make sure that they are in line with our requirements, right? Right, now I will jump in here because Richard Copus from ANZ was going to join us today. And so I'm just going to jump in here and see if Richard is with us. And he was going to share. Richard is here. So I'm going to invite Richard to join us here to share a little bit of information about the program, the AI program at ANZ, and what they're up to. So, good morning, Richard. He's coming in to join us. Cool, you're on. He's just be loading up his video and taking himself off mute, hopefully. As we wait for him to come on. So yeah, so far we've gone through, I'm going to scroll back. So we're looking at the playbook. We've gone through kind of the ideas around how we want to lead with AI with our teams, and thinking about the good governance protocols that we've got. Okay, Richard's having a little bit of a challenge there getting some of the microphone working. So we will, well, we might have to get Richard to come back for the next episode. So sorry about that. They are doing some fantastic work at ANZ, and it will be fantastic to be able to learn and share that with you. So we'll invite Richard to come back for next week, and hopefully we can do a little bit more testing to make sure that works for all of us then. Beauties of a live demo. So we'll skip through today. So we'll bring that back for you in the next session. As I said, if you've got any questions as we work through this, I'm more than happy to answer them. As you're starting to think about what this means inside your organization as we go, right? So where do we start? How on earth do we get started? There's so much noise around AI tools, the benefits, the things that it can do for you. No doubt you've got people in your business that are starting to experiment and trial different tools and tasks and things, seeing how things work, right? And so these are the kind of the three things that typically we'll work with companies on to kind of help them get started, right? So in the ambassador workshop in the course, we share the spreadsheet template that we've got, which helps people create a register, if you like, of the tasks, workflows, and processes that could be really good. We'd really like to be able to delegate these to AI to free us up to do the higher value work, the work that only humans can do, right? To spend more time with our customers, to solving more complex problems, to creating new revenue streams, selling more of our products or services, right? So what do we delegate? So we're looking at repetitive tasks, tedious tasks, complex tasks that you and your team have to do on a regular basis, at least weekly or monthly, right? So repetitive tasks could be things like answering customer FAQs, finding project or customer information quickly within your file system, transferring accounts payable from an email to Xero and publishing them in there. Tedious tasks, we might think about like writing reports and proposals, which require lots of different sources of information. Responding to RFPs, health and safety compliance. Complex workflows could be writing customer case stories, could be quoting, equipment maintenance schedules, all sorts of things like this. And so we want to create across the business a list of repetitive, tedious, or complex tasks that we have to do. Describe how we do them as today manually as humans, and then we can actually start running through each of those tasks to ascertain if we need do we need AI to solve those problems, to make them more seamless, more fluid, to reduce the time it takes to complete those tasks. Do we actually need AI to solve that? And if we do, then we can start moving forward into kind of some of the prioritization, right? So once we've got our laundry list of tasks, then we can start prioritizing them. So how do we build a roadmap out for what we're going to do? And I think it's important here that, we're not reinventing the wheel. We're not completely transforming the business from day one. We're looking for one or two high impact use cases that we can solve first, so that we can build confidence and trust in these AI systems and build up that skill base within our team around how to use them, right? So when we've got our laundry list of use cases, we're then doing a little bit of scoping and understanding like what those requirements are, right? What's the information, the source of information that we need to complete that job? What's the work that gets done? And what's the output that we need for it, right? So we're prioritizing them based on business impact. An impact could be the potential time reduction to complete those tasks. More than likely, it's about reducing the time to do those pieces of work, to free up capacity in the business, to work through backlog, sell more stuff, to grow, right? Then we're looking at the time and cost to deliver. So is it a task that we're going to be able to automate using a custom GPT, an AI agent, or is it something that requires a more custom solution build that might that have complex data coming into it, and 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 a response accuracy or format that we just can't do in some of these general AI tools, and so we need something a little bit more grunty to be able to run it. So we're looking at the time and cost to deliver, and then we're also looking at that technical complexity, right? So things that are high impact, low time and cost, perhaps low technical complexity, might be really good ones to prioritize at the top of the list as your, 2 or 3 to kind of get started on, right? Things that have technical complexity are going to require us to spend a lot more time thinking about and building out some of these solutions, right? And we'll run in again. We'll show you some of the tools that we have in New Zealand that are around as well. So we're prioritizing our use cases based on business impact, time reduction, time and cost to deliver, and technical complexity. And our goal here is to find 1, 2, perhaps 3 of them which we can run with to start with, right? So we can just prioritize some, and we can start building our AI muscle and the confidence across our team to demonstrate value, to demonstrate that ROI in the business of deploying AI to solve some really practical stuff, right? Right. So we've put in some good governance processes, so we understand the rules of engagement, what our guardrails are, what we can and can't do with data, how we're going to manage our data with AI tools, and how we are going to select the use cases and prioritize those use cases. And so now we're starting to marry up what some of the risks might be against that, right? So there might be quite low risk with it, certainly for those first couple of use cases that you choose. But some of the risks that we might have in here would be understanding the tools that we've got, and where do they store the data? How is that data managed? Is there a risk of IP leakage or intellectual property that we don't want to be used to train an AI model or anything like that? So keeping things within our tenancy, right? Managing that data privacy, which of course is always something that we have to work with around how we are sharing data around the business and making it available for these AI tools to be able to leverage safely and securely. And then so that shadow AI tool use, and in the previous webinar we talked about the use of AI meeting tools, right? Those tools that jump into a meeting and they start recording and transcribing the conversations in the meeting, and often they can be kind of shadow AI, right? Employees just sign up to one of these tools. They might be using a free or perhaps a paid account, and they drop their card in to subscribe to those tools, but they're not provisioned centrally by the business, so they're not necessarily contained within your IT tenancy. The information that's been captured in those meetings might be stored outside of your tenancy, and it's important that we're bringing that in so that all the information that's captured about our business and our customers is being managed securely, right? So shadow AI tool use is a real problem and a real challenge for many organizations to make sure, and that's kind of where those guidelines and that principles-based policy kind of come into play, right? So how do we inform our employees to make good decisions around what tools they're bringing in, and making sure that we're getting approval for the use of those tools to make sure that they comply with our company guidelines, right? And then the last one here is really like making sure that we've got a human in the loop. There's a lot of I guess nervousness around this over reliance of AI. And another insight that came out of that Cultivate report was that business leaders today are really looking for people that can demonstrate critical thinking, right? So they're able to understand the prompts that they're using, the outputs of the AI, and really think about whether or not they those what it's producing for us is reliable, accurate, relevant, is evidence based. Is it creating? Is it making things up, or is it really good quality? Good quality. And so we want to make sure that humans should start and finish a task, and the AI should sit in the middle of that, enhancing the work that we're doing, right? To shorten the time it takes to do those jobs, but enhance the process. So making sure that we've got humans starting and finishing ensures that we've got humans in the loop in these key parts of the process to review and evaluate those outputs, right? So we've got to kind of understand our risks. So let's go back to kind of where we are on this journey, right? So this is the 6 practical steps to accelerate adoption. We've talked about leadership, governance, use cases, risks, right? So now we're going to jump into how do we decide what tools to use? Because like tool fatigue in the AI era is just insane compared to any other time. I mean, there's always been lots of apps and solutions and things like that, and so making a decision around what tools you're going to provision into the business can be a complex task, right? I think today we're just starting to see all of these new tools developing at a fast rate, and even when you look across OpenAI, Perplexity, Anthropic, Google, Microsoft, they're all leaping ahead of each other in terms of capability and things that you can do with them. So which ones you kind of anchor into your business is certainly a challenging conversation, right? So how do we decide what tools to use? Well, the first is I would want to be having a discussion around what are the tasks, like what's the problem that we're actually trying to solve here, right? And if it's a everyday general business productivity play where we just want to use some AI to be able to free up kind of 3 to 5 hours of time a week per employee, then you're going to get some good value out of thinking about either ChatGPT Business, Microsoft Copilot, Google Gemini, AutoHive, Numa from Arcanum, which we'll talk to next. So there's kind of these platforms here which are going to unlock a lot of time to free up capacity, right? So we're thinking about those tasks. What are the tasks that we need to do? And then match up, like what tools do we need to be able to automate those tasks with AI in a safe and responsible way within our tenancy, these types of things, right? There's going to be some tasks which are more complex, right? Where the data and the information that we need to complete those tasks is a lot more complex. It's coming from multiple different sources. It's in different formats, and so that requires perhaps different AI tools or more complex workflows to be able to synthesize and build out that workflow, right? And then it's making sure that in our tenancy, are they compliant with our company guidelines and industry guidelines or government regulation in the markets that we are operating in, if need be outside New Zealand, right? So thinking about how we're containing that and managing that data security and those sorts of things is really essential. It's kind of three ways that we start kind of thinking about what tools do we need to be able to use. There's also different teams might need different tools, right? So your developers will probably may well want a different set of tools available to them to for coding and product development and design and those sorts of things. It'll be quite different from the rest of the business. And sales and marketing or marketing teams will want some content creation tools with that use AI, which other people might not need, right? So, but we want those tools, if we can, to kind of interact and talk to each other, so we can create more seamless workflows and that sort of thing, right? Do they connect? Integration. So the fourth one in here, I should put that in here for next time, right, is actually integration. How well do those tools talk to or collect and feed data from other tools in our business, right? So if we're running Xero as our accounting platform, then what tools use generative AI and large language models that we can push and pull, so we can read and write content into Xero to automate some of those tasks, right? So, like the example is how do we could create an agent that's monitoring our accounts receivable inbox. When it identifies an email with an invoice to be paid, it's extracting that information, pushing it into Xero. It might identify that it's a new supplier, and so it needs a human in the loop to go and verify that payment information and the supplier details, right? So it's thinking about those integrations, and do we need another layer in there to be able to do the agent workflows that are connecting these things together. And certainly, excuse me, in tools like ChatGPT, you've got connectors. Perplexity has integrations, with all of your Google Suite and M365 and HubSpot and all sorts of different things in there that you can plug into these tools. And also with AutoHive and Numa from Arcanum, you can connect in the business tools that you use every day to become sources of information that fuel your AI agents to build workflows, right? To do repetitive tasks, right? And we're going to talk a lot more. We're going to show you in upcoming webinars what that means and right. So Kerry asks, are there businesses out there that are helping create agents to help companies progress faster? Yes, absolutely. There's a bunch of people out there who can help build agents. There's a lot of workshops and webinars that we're running here in the Academy to help you with that. Companies like AutoHive, which have a good platform around building agent workflows, they're running webinars in person, perhaps, and online as well. And for both Numa from Arcanum and AutoHive, we've got sessions with them coming up, which are free to attend in the Academy. So you can register for those, and we'll have people actually showing you, demonstrating inside those tools how easy it is to be able to do it. Chantal also wants to learn more about agents and how it all works. So yeah, stay tuned. There's plenty of programming around this coming up. And if you want to know more, or you just want to be pointed in the right direction, just flick me an email or a message. You can just message me through the academy, or flick me an email, justin@newzealand.ai, and I'll send you back some links and resources around training and workshops and webinars and things like that we've done. There's also the AI Supercharge events that are run in Wellington and Auckland. Auckland's actually coming up on Friday. So the AI Supercharge events, so they're in person, and we'll be taking you through lots of practical examples of how to do things in AI tools, including building agents and that kind of stuff. So there's plenty going on around Aotearoa in this, right? So we're kind of getting to the back end of the session. Probably going to finish up maybe a little bit sooner, given that we couldn't run with Richard this morning, so we'll have him in for the next session. So again, here's just an overview of the lay of the land around the tools to start with that are going to be really easy for you to get going, right? So again, you'll be familiar with or becoming more familiar with tools like ChatGPT and Claude from Anthropic and Perplexity. Perplexity, they've got connectors, so you can connect in apps and do things with them. You can run agent workflows and automate tasks and things like that using these tools. And then in the business productivity side, you've got Microsoft Copilot that sits inside 365, right? So that means it's within your tenancy, it's all contained. Google Gemini is the same. Gemini's got heaps of different tools in there that you can be using to create images and video and work with all of your Google Docs and that kind of stuff. Claude from Anthropic, they just announced, I think it was just last week, a partnership with Microsoft, so that you can now work with PowerPoint, Excel, and Word inside Claude. So you can create those documents and work with those documents inside Claude. And I think they'll be integrating Claude into Microsoft Copilot as well. So on the other side, we've got our AI for business platforms. So sometimes we want to create a walled garden around task automation. And instead of like most companies will have like, I don't know, 20, 50, maybe 100 documents that you're actually working with on a regular basis. And so it's quite good to just, store those in a place so that we can work with the documents that we're most frequently using to create agent workflows and process automations, right? And so Arcanum and AutoHive are two good platforms to have a look at. I mentioned we're going to be running sessions with both these companies coming up soon, but I've got links in there to jump in for free trials and get started if you want to. They both provide a safe place for you and your people to be working with documents and data to automate, repetitive, tedious, and some complex workflows as well, right? And then when none of those solve the problem, or you've got some really specific requirements, then we'll introduce you to the team at Smart Space or Superhuman if you need to be building out a custom solution, to really accelerate adoption, right? That's the real game-changing stuff. So to summarize, to finish up here, this is your 6-step plan to start accelerating adoption in your business. It doesn't matter whether you're 1,000-seat enterprise or a three-person startup. Same rules apply at different degrees, right? So you're going to have someone who's going to be, or people that are going to be, forming your ambassador team, your champions of AI within the business to inform the practical and responsible use. You're going to have some clear guidelines and governance around the use of AI and data in your business so that you can be clear and transparent with your employees, your customers, your partners, the regulators, everyone else around how you're going to be utilizing artificial intelligence, right? You'll then be identifying the use cases. So finding 2 or 3, tedious, repetitive tasks that have got a high business impact, going to reduce the time it's going to take to do those tasks. You're going to pick a few of those to start getting going, right? To build your confidence. Then you're understanding the risks, how to mitigate them, building out what tools you're going to need in each of those, and then starting to look at the training, right? And the training is really, really important. So obviously we're doing a lot in the academy. Ben Walker, who I think was on the call, he's in Dunedin. He does a lot of our Microsoft Copilot training, both in person around the country. We're actually going to be down in Hamner Springs next week for running a couple of sessions together. And so we can run all sorts of training for you and the team, whether it's just general, whether it's ChatGPT or Perplexity or building agents or Copilot. That's what we do an awful lot of. So making sure that people have the practical skills to embed these workflows into their daily tasks. That's adoption, right? That's what adoption means. Just using ChatGPT as a Google search replacement, that's usage. It's not, it's not really adoption. We want it to be, embedded into your everyday, right? That's when you're really going to see the measurable value and the impact out of this. So there's a link to our AI Ambassador program. We run the workshops every month. It's a 2-hour practical workshop. And once you do the workshop, you'll be invited to do the self-paced course. You can also just buy the course on its own and work through that at your own pace. And in there, you've got lots of case studies and examples and templates and resources, all of that stuff. We'll share it with you. And of course, we're always here to be a support, to help you figure out which way to go, what to do next, maybe overcome some of the challenges. So talk to us through some of the problems that you're facing, perhaps a task or a use case that you're trying to figure out how to solve. We're always here to help that. You can message us through the academy or through the website. So the next fortnight, we're diving in deep to automate the boring, tedious, and repetitive tasks in your business to free you up to do more of the awesome stuff that you love to do, to build business, to work with your customers, to impact the world around you. I'm really looking forward to it. We're starting to get into some of the real practical show and tell part of it. So please share the series with your colleagues, and we'd love to see you all back in a fortnight for running this. The recording for the session will be in the chat or in the event page that I showed you in the academy. So you can share that with your people as well. Ben's just chucked in a link to the first of 4 Copilot webinars that he's running in the academy. And we'd love to see you and your team involved with that, if Copilot's the thing that you've decided to run with as well. Right, that's all from me today. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure to continue to share the practical knowledge and expertise that we have built up over the last 8 years working with companies on their AI adoption plan. Please sing out if you have any questions after this. Otherwise, have a fantastic rest of your week, and we will see you again in a fortnight, if not earlier. Thanks very much, everybody. Thanks, Carla. Thanks, Janelle. Appreciate your time joining us today. And it's been fantastic. All right. Thanks very much, everybody. See you later.